Hey everyone, it's Andrea. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you some important and easy tips so that you can learn how to memorize lines in less than 24 hours. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to click that subscribe button below for more weekly videos. And for my fellow actors, if any of you are in need of a green screen or tripod in order to film your monologues or scenes, be sure to look at the links in my description under the tag gear used. That way you can check out the great products that I purchased under a tight budget. Okay guys, let's dive right in. Tips on how to memorize lines in less than 24 hours. Whether you need to memorize a lengthy monologue, sides for an audition, or in general any given speech, these next tips are like a pot of gold for us actors. Now, I realize that every actor has a completely different learning method. Some gain a better understanding through visual patterns, others through tactile, some learn easier with hearing patterns, and others by simply doing. I personally like to use a little bit of everything in order for me to memorize my lines. I like to use tactile, I like to use visual, and I like to use hearing as well for my methods. More importantly, they've never failed me. So, what you will be learning in today's video are tips that have specifically worked for me, yes. But if you truly follow them as I am recommending, I can guarantee you will acquire new ways on how to memorize your lines in a much faster time than you're used to. More specifically, in less than 24 hours. Because let's be honest guys, when you do get that second callback or that last minute audition, you usually have 24 hours or less in order to prepare yourself, memorize your lines, and rock that audition. So let's get started. The first tip on how to memorize your lines in less than 24 hours should be a fairly obvious one to every actor. But then again, who knows? You may be brand new to the game. So here it is. Make sure you read the entire play, the entire scene, or the entire script if you can get your hands on it before you start memorizing anything. If you're memorizing a monologue, make sure you read the entire play. If you're memorizing sides, make sure you read everything on those pages, including the starting point, characters, stage directions, descriptions of everything until the end of the scene. And the same thing goes for any film scripts. This will without a doubt give you a better notion as to why you are saying the lines that you will be memorizing in the first place. It'll give you a deeper look into your character's background and a clear comprehension on the given circumstances. And as a more apparent reason, it'll give you a deeper understanding of your character's objective. Tip number 2 on how to memorize your lines in less than 24 hours. Repetition, 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 guys. Once you've made sure that you read the entire play at least once, it's time to read your monologue over and over and over again. I like to read my monologues, especially if it's a chunky one, a minimum of 4 times internally. And I'll do that at an easygoing pace. I'll make sure I'm reading every single word very carefully, and then going forward, I switch and I read out loud. And I'll repeat this process until I feel like my brain recognizes the entire piece or the lines that I have to memorize. Guys, the more that you repeat your monologue and the more that you have it engraved in your mind, the better your audition will be. It has been proven that the act of repetition takes you out of your head so that you are then able to eventually liberate your acting and consequentially respond or deliver your lines truthfully. Because then you're no longer thinking about what is my next line. You are ready to go and you are present. Tip number 3 on how to memorize your lines in less than 24 hours. It's to physically write them down on a piece of paper or a journal. This is usually my midpoint where I've read the entire play, I have now read my monologue repeatedly over and over, and now I am going to physically write down my monologue several times. This helps further strengthen your cue lines, especially if you're dealing with a scene. And because you are writing it down with your hand, not in a computer, it's a heck of a lot easier to remember. It's all about that muscle memory, guys. Trust me, this will work wonders for you. Also guys, just a little side note, there's really not a specific number of times that you need to practice each tip. It's more so of asking yourself, how prepared do you feel? How well do you know your lines? My rule of thumb is, if you have to even think about the answers to those questions, you are not ready. And my suggestion is that you continue to practice. I also have some hacks that help out with the entire process of memorizing your lines along with the tips. And these are simply to highlight all of your lines. And also, if you're doing a really lengthy monologue, guys, don't be afraid to separate it into smaller sections and work your way from the top. Tip number 4 on how to memorize your lines in less than 24 hours. Take your necessary breaks. Trust me when I tell you this, guys, you run the risk of burning yourself completely out. Don't let it happen. I know that it can be very stressful, especially if you get an audition at short notice. There is a lot on the line here. This is your career, and on top of it all, you want to be as prepared and as professional as you can be in order to ace this audition. And of course, it's natural. You are going to want to be glued to your monologue, to your sides, as much as humanly possible. Do the necessary work? Yes. Repeat, 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 of course. But also within that process, guys, find breaks within. It's also great for yourself because you can give your brain enough time to process all of this information that's being given to it. Tip number 5 on how to memorize your lines in less than 24 hours. And this is usually the final tip to my process. Practice your lines while doing an activity. You could even challenge yourself by making this activity something that requires attention to detail. You could do a number of activities, anything from washing your dishes, starting a puzzle, use one of those coloring books with the numbers, or I don't know, organize your books using the Dewey Decimal if you'd like. I know it sounds weird, guys, but if you're able to do an activity that requires your attention and needs you to be focused, and you're able to deliver your monologue, you are a couple steps closer to being off book. This is an excellent way to test yourself and also help you make your lines come as second nature. And lastly, guys, another hack that I usually like to incorporate, and this actually solidifies the entire process, is to record myself on my iPhone. And what I usually like to do is to record my partner's lines or the reader's lines. This hack is great, especially if you can't find anyone to practice your lines with on short notice. And remember, guys, have fun. But this is to be taken seriously. When you're practicing out these tips, be true to your craft. Go to a quiet area, relax. Don't have anything or anyone around you that can be distracting. Put your phone on silent and concentrate. If you are able to stay true to your craft, follow these easy tips plus hacks, I promise you, you'll be able to memorize any lines in less than 24 hours. So, break a leg. And that is it for today's video. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this content, guys. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and don't forget to click that subscribe button below for weekly videos. As always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay creative. But above all, let's remember to be kind to one another. I love you all. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you guys next week.